Got the mercy table tomorrow.
Yes, well, I just
Welcome to your 21st Century Play experience. Please take this time to turn all phones to their utmost loudest and most obnoxious volumes and vibrations. Flash photography is not prohibited, but it is discouraged, as some of our performers are prone to ungovernable rage triggered by flash photography. Please don't eat or drink during the performance, unless you are going to pass out or something due to hypoglycemia, for instance. But don't make a thing about it, okay? Because we all want a candy bar too right now. This performance uses light and special effects, including brief exposure to the void of space. Running time for this performance is between 3 and 12 hours, and there will be 2 10-minute intermissions. Please refrain from throwing objects towards people's eyes. This is good advice anytime. Now, sit back, rub your face and eyes with your hands, and enjoy, if you can, 21st Century Play.
Good evening! To begin, I'd like to discuss my oral problems, if I may. My mouth is like that of a Komodo dragon, so fetid and disturbed, full of germs and blood and bacteria. It's probably scurvy and gingivitis and herpes simplex X. If I spit, you must forgive me. It is the only relief I can offer myself, for the briefest of nothings. This is all background. I have been given permission as a narrator of sorts to explain why we're all here. Some as paying customers, others perhaps as willing listeners. Behold these truths that must be spoken before it is all too late. Behold the thesis. 21st century theater is dead. Dead like disco. Dead like a donkey. Dead like Dostoevsky. Dead like Dick. Who is dead? Well, we'll come back to the disco. For now, understand that we are here to close the door on this cultural relic so that future generations of privileged phone zombies can pork and watch TV without having to put on anything better than shorts to go to the theater. That is gross. I'm sorry. It's even the floor. I'm really so... And if you're wearing shorts right now, you know, you shouldn't feel bad just because I said that, you know? Theater isn't an occasion anymore. It's trying to see a car wreck. Ah, look, Hamlet doesn't know his lines. He's saying something about pizza sandwich. What a laugh! Schadenfreude. But statistically speaking, none of you have actually seen Hamlet live. And those of you who have seen Hamlet live probably hated it. The people who have both seen Hamlet live and enjoyed it is a percentage so negligible as to be infinitesimal. It's not for us. We're here to feel good, you dig? Take out your phones and play with them. I don't get paid either way. Take pictures of how fabulous I look. But if you don't have a cutting-edge phone, then what are you doing here? Because you should really be out there earning enough money to buy a cutting-edge phone. Because in the end, the phone that they bury you with better be able to call through 6 feet of moist earth, and oftentimes a concrete retaining layer. Tennessee Williams is dead, and he is buried someplace he did not want to be, and his ghost haunts the bars of Lower Florida to this very day. Tony Kushner did Lincoln, and he is all done. You probably don't know who Tony Kushner is, but he wrote the last legitimate play titled Angels in America, but he is now done with the wacky theater shenanigans. We're alone out here. We are flying fish at the zenith of our trajectory, soon to return to the sea, to be eaten by larger, less cultured fish. Such is the nature of the universe and of entropy. And we are not here to debate that. We are not here to laud the dead age, but to imagine a time so far into the future that our time is as irrelevant to the future as the past is to we here in the present. Present? Okay, cut it! They're awake again! All right. Now we must imagine a time far into the far future The year is 2525, and mankind is still very alive. And if you get that joke, then you know your ticket has already paid for itself. But no. In actually keeping with the title of the work, the year is in fact 2095. And mankind is still inexplicably alive, despite war, famine, apathy of the gods, and anger of the aliens. Man has persevered. He has seen the age of the robot and the invention of the flying car, as well as the untold deaths caused by drunk flying. Rage in the air and on the ground. I'm sorry about that. Look, I have to assure you, I don't have anything even vaguely beautiful. Look, I don't have the Ebola or the Doomsday virus or anything. You have to be assured that if I bite anyone, here in the audience or on the stage, that is all part of the show. We are actors, merely acting. Anyhow, about 15,000 years ago, there were perhaps 7 artists. And they drew some animals on a cave one time, and it became all the rage in 20th century paleontology. But by the 21st century, there were roughly 7 billion artists, because everybody was an artist to some larger or smaller degree. English is an art. And if you can merely write your name, that makes you an artist. Maybe not a good artist, but still. Or maybe you take an art class and you make a pot, and it's bad. It's really bad. You would even still be an artist. Or maybe you write a play without any coherent plot or tangible characters. And maybe you write several of these plays and they never go on to be produced, and you die impoverished and alone with anemic dysentery. You would still, in that case, be an artist. I'm here to tell you that everyone in this room is an artist. And our art means nothing. Rather, it has no value. I refuse to use air quotes. Unless you work with gold, your art has no value. And even then, probably not, because gold immediately diminishes in value as soon as you take it out of coin form. The fact of the matter is, when you all boil it down, the only thing we really have is an imagined grasp of the past, the crippling hope of the future, and the terrifying, uncontrollable present. Present? Okay, cut it! This is my show, I'm trying to set the whole thing up! Whew. So, that's basically the thesis. We're all done with theater arts here in the 21st century. There's too much other stuff to do. There's too many people making too many things, don't get any quality or value. It creates this global white noise that makes people not give not even a small rabbit-like hope. An artist must crucify themselves on stage, then magically escape and shoot flowers up all their body holes, just to get you to sit through 5 minutes of poetry. Even slam poetry. Especially slam poetry. So, that's roughly the thesis. But the thing is, we've got to work it out with characters and dialogue, because this is a conversation. It is a play, a dialogue in the most platonic and terrible sense of the word. You should not be enjoying this. Not if we're doing our jobs, convincing you all that theater is dead. Like the dodo. And we're going to do that by introducing you to some characters through what's traditionally referred to as the 3-act cycle. Later, we're going to send the whole train wreck into the Pulitzer Prize Committee and the New York Times Bestseller Committee. Here we are, almost through the first act, or the introduction of the first act anyway. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited. Or is it merely acting? The first act deals with an educator from the late 21st century named Dr. Leroy Brown Jenkins. Leroy has his master's degree in theater and his doctorate in theater historiography. He is supremely overqualified for his online teaching job. What Leroy doesn't know, what he couldn't know, is that he is the best theater teacher in the world. Because he is the last theater teacher in the world. He's married to one Veronica Mars. Veronica Jenkins, née Mars. Ah. That's all you really need to know for now. I'll check back in.
I'm leaving you for a robot, Leroy, and I'm taking the robot dog with me.
You callous wench! I teach in 5 minutes. Why would you do this now?
For that reason.
Why?
The movers are coming over at noon to collect my things.
I will burn your things.
Please don't, Leroy. I would really prefer never to see or think about you ever again.
Oh, you're hurting me!
You are killing me, Veronica! You're putting a tiny knife into my heart and another into my brain, and you're killing me, and I'm just defending myself!
Let go of me or I'll call the police! This is your only warning!
Honestly, what did people do when they had to manually call the police?
They died, Veronica.
Certainly. Well, I've changed all of my records, and I don't expect we'll see one another again. It's been an experience, Leroy. Really, an experience.
Just do me one favor, one parting gift.
I don't know, Leroy.
What is it?
Who is it? Is that what you're asking? Doesn't matter.
Yes, to me it matters a great deal.
Well, it really means that much to you, but you must swear not to tell anyone.
A counter favor.
Call it what you like. You can promise and I can destroy you for breaking that promise, or you can not promise and wander in castrated fury forever.
Very well. I promise I won't tell.
It's Manbot. I'm running away with Manbot.
But Veronica, robot love is forbidden.
You tell no one. You keep your goddamn mouth shut, Leroy Jenkins, or I will have my robot lover kill you with his effing laser. I will put my boots to you and stomp out your teeth, and he will use his laser pendage to finish the job.
Is this theater history?
Oh, yes. Yes, this is, world theater history. Hello. I'm sorry about that. How much of that did you see? Oh, it doesn't matter. Hello. My name is, Dr. Leroy Jenkins. I will be your instructor this quarter. This is my 10th year of teaching at the University of the Phoenix, theater history and English. Some of you I have had before, others of you are connecting for the first time. Is this a first class for anyone? Oh, good. It's always good to see new faces. Well, the most important thing is going to be adhering to the reading schedule. If you have not, you should all have the syllabus available. If you have not read it, then you must do so. Not now. It is too late now. But later. Listen, the most important thing is ignore the reading schedule. Okay, the reading schedule is big picture. It's the small things that are the most important. And this small thing is, pay attention. Right now, you are all over the world. I am being broadcast into different languages, and your responses, in return, are translated into mine. The whole process is miraculous, But it can all be taken away if you're listening to Britney Spears. Does anyone know who Britney Spears is? Oh, good. Then we share a common knowledge. Now, why do some people know who Britney Spears is and others do not? It's a matter of fact. Certain things can be considered fact if people more intelligent than us have tested a theory over and over, and over and over, and over and over, 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 and over. And if they can sustain a reliable result, then we can begin to tread in the sacred realm known as fact. But fact, so much of it before the 21st century, was all secondhand. I'm sorry, but I need a small drink. You'd have to read about the fact from someone who went to something. And they would write down what they thought. And through the narrow pinhole of a critic's opinion, we lay claim to what many would consider fact. Historians would lay claim to these facts and put it in a canon and fire it into the future. But before the written language, for example, nobody knows for certain what was really going on, which is to say, and this is the long way around, I can't tell you when theater began. Nobody can. It's a fact that disturbs and delights and makes it magical. We know with fair certainty when people started making tools, started painting in caves. But theater? What is that even? The definitions become malleable around the edge. Listen, you're all paying money to listen to me tell you something live. So, is this theater? Or is this knowledge? Because this is not one-way communication. Or is this just waiting around until you hear about numbers, dates, and times? Is this one-way communication? Brick.
Yeah?
Is this one-way communication?
Mostly.
Because I'm rambling.
Because you're drunk.
No, I'm not drunk yet, Brick. I'm not drunk yet. But I will be. I will be. Just remember, I can see you. All of you. You there, picking your nose. You think that I cannot see you. But I can. And that, in its own way, is a little magical. But get a tissue. Please do not masturbate in class. That is so key. Because again, I can see you. You are all right here. It's like watching the opening of the Brady Bunch on a head full of acid. Speaking of which, do any of you dude or chick faces know where a doctor can talk to Sid? Because grades are not facts, but figures. And the whole house of cards is probably coming down with a bad LBJ anyhow. Brick, what were we talking about?
Theater?
Yes, you asked if this was World History Theater, and yes it is. But the proposed full title was World Theater History, 600 BCE to star date 2080. But the admins would not let me put that on the course schedule because they were all norms. Normals, I tell you. Yes, we're going to attempt to cover roughly 2,600 years of theater history in one quarter. The readings are all linked and available. Please, does everyone know how to read? Good, good, many. Some of you know how to read. For those of you who do not, go to the Disability Services portal and ask for an audio transcript of the readings. Many of you have browsers that can translate better than that, but some do not. Just find someone who can read and ask them for help. Look, I'm going to log out early, and you should all go over the readings, take the test, come back here, and we'll go over whatever you didn't understand. I'm sorry. Look, I know this is supposed to be a longer class. I was kidding about logging out. I'm just trying to keep my shit together here, all right? And it's hard, okay? Life is hard, and then you die. And generally then you're either burned or they put you in a space pyramid, if you're lucky, which many of you will not be. And that's what makes me so sad, to look out there and all these bright, shining, beautiful dead faces. I look at you all as digital corpses, like Applethorpe before the end. Is that right? Applethorpe? Heaven's Gate? Only one of you know. Of course, only one of you knows. Who cares about mass suicide anyways? We're here to talk about theater. Does anyone know when theater began?
Hollywood?
No. Hollywood was just one of the many nails that went into the coffin of theater. Broadway, no, again, just same thing, different coast.
Bemidji State University had a beautiful run of shows, including such luminary examples such as, I don't know, there's something about a boat. It was like Showboat, but it wasn't as good.
Siberia. There are some plays that were in Siberia, but they're even sadder than this one. Any other guesses? Bemidji? No. Where was theater born? Greece! Thank you. Greece was the birthplace of theater. In specific, your readings will cover the three great Greek authors. Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Agamemnon, Oedipus the King, Electra. Yes, that's right. And listen, and this is strange but true, but you can get 1 1/3 psychology credits for these readings just by clicking the box that says multidisciplinary option. Because Edmund sleeps with his mother. Spoiler alert. Now listen, these are some of the most poorly translated, dry, horribly boring plays ever written down. But the performances would have been, just boring, No, you don't know, because you've never been to the theater. But yeah, so you're at this show, and there's just like one guy talking at you for like 15 minutes about what's going to happen next. And then you have the Parados, which is both a thing and a place. And then the chorus would come on, and the chorus would be just dirty, because soap is still in its infancy. You bathe with olive oil and a stick. People would just be naked all the time in ancient Greece, because you don't want to wear clothes. Unless you had to for like war or whatnot. You'd think that everyone back then had this sort of pornographic fascination with just really tiny penises and just killer abs. Also, probably all of these authors were super gay. But being super gay meant something different in ancient Greece than it does now. This was before even the great gay, super gay schism. But the Greeks, they farmed, and they frolicked, and they ate grapes and olives, and they built this beautiful egalitarian society that for one bright, shining moment was the most wonderful place on earth before it all just came crashing down. But all of Western civilization is based on the thoughts of like 3 of them. And it probably wasn't all that great of a place anyways. Because you could own slaves. And have sex with children. And women couldn't vote. Maybe not base an entire society around it, But Greek culture is eventually absorbed into Rome. Roman theater sucks. So does English theater. Probably all theater sucks, which is why it is dead, like Dick Nixon. But listen, you just do the readings. We'll come back here. I'll lecture a little bit more, and somehow you will begin to understand about the roots of theater,
how it developed into one of the most amazing forms of cultural expression ever seen, and how it died a terrible, terrible death shortly after the advent of the digital age. If you have any questions,
please email me. Do not video call me, as these pants are coming off as soon as we log on, and they're not coming back on again until we're back here. And honestly, and this may be a bit much for the first class, but I may kill myself before then, so...
Oh, you're so great. Tell us about theater.
Yes, Sarah.
Yeah. Or if you do, give us all A's before you do it.
I'll consider both options, thank you.
Will the auto final be comprehensive?
Yes, most comprehensive. Any other questions? All right, good. I'm logging out.
So, we're still here?
Oh, God damn it, why?
Sorry.
Of course they would not let me just log out. Of course I have the camera in the only room in my crummy apartment. Ah, Jesus Christ bled and died on the cross for your sins. Did you know that? That the Lord Jesus Harold Christ died and bled on the cross for your sins.
It is strange to think that he did. I would rather he had not. If it meant all the wars and intolerance and people being burned alive, bigotry that was caused by his death would all go away.
And instead I would go to hell because I'm such a bad person. Well, that's on me. That is my sin, and I can deal with it. But maybe I don't need Jesus to suffer and die for me. Maybe there is no such thing as sin. Maybe the real sin isn't declaring behavior wrong, because it distracts us now and again by having to look at boobs. Boobs like me. Has anyone read Hamlet? Good. Then you're familiar with the story. Has anyone read War Hamlet? Oh, it's far less. Which is sad, because it's free and available online. It was written by an early 21st century artist named Jeremiah Liend, who lived and wrote, thought for theater shortly before its death. It is terrible. It is just terrible. A bastardizing of one of the most boring and overblown pieces ever written and conceived. If we ever have the technology to send one piece of literature to an alien civilization, it'll probably be The Grapes of Wrath. But whatever we do, we cannot send either Hamlet or War Hamlet, as they're both largely the same piece. Only Hamlet is much, much sadder. You will all have to read Hamlet by the end of the quarter. Everyone dies, spoiler alert.
That is not the proper use of a spoiler alert.
You're right. Sorry.
What are you drinking?
Peyote juice? Who knows?
Can you really drink and teach?
From home? What, you sober?
5 years.
I applaud you. That's how long I was with my wife.
Oh. Did she leave you?
Yes.
Just now?
Oh, yes.
Well, why don't we all just go do something else for half an hour?
Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. You
Paid to be here.
No, really? The government gave me a grant.
Well, we could probably use a break, though. You are super boring.
Please don't make me cry. I don't think I can take it again.
Well, I mean, sorry, it's a half-hour class, man, and your wife just left you.
Is she taking the robot dog?
Yes.
Well, what kind of robot dog is it?
3/4 yellow lab, 1/4 Great Dane. All robot, all cop.
How does that work?
They used a little ramp, I understand. And a small saddle. And a lot of deprogramming afterwards. Little gun pops out the back.
Who's the pool person?
We don't have a pool.
No, you know the other person?
I can't say.
That's classy.
Thanks.
So, I don't know, do you have any pictures of the robot dog or anything?
Yeah, I got pictures.
Oh, you want pictures? All right, sure, I got pictures.
Well, you're all right, Dr. Jenkins.
Yeah. What should we call you?
I like to be called Dr. J.
Like Mr. T?
You know who Mr. T was?
Oh, who doesn't?
I pity that fool.
So, are we done here?
I don't know. I was in virtual showboat once.
That has nothing to do with anything.
You walk away from the controls for just a moment and everything just gets plowed into a building. You take your eyes off the brass ring and you end up just spinning through the best years, knowing nothing but dizzy and the sick smell of cotton candy. Does anyone know where a guy could buy a laser gun at this hour? Hit my inbox with the links.
Hit my inbox with the most dire and terrible of your murderous links.
Don't kill anyone, Dr. Jenkins.
Tell us about theater history.
Yes, you're right, yes. Much better than murder-suicide, yes, okay, all right. We've got to get back on track here, all right, okay, let's see, it's a half-hour class. Are we at time? I guess it depends on how long I spent crying, right? Okay, so, theater, art, very old, started with the Greeks, continued with the Romans, developed in the East in a very interesting and divergent timeline, and this is all before power, all right? Like before cell phones. And then after cell phones, when you still had to hold the thing up against your head like a damn cave person.
What's a cave person?
Not my department, kid. Check archaeology, see what you come up with. But yeah, so these people, these old, long dead, tragically ignorant people used to shamble around on these platforms called stages, and they'd yell things out to amuse other people.
How many people?
I don't know. Depends. Like on the size of the stage? Text that to yourself.
I don't text and learn.
Good. And then there was this guy whose name was, and then after the fall of Rome, there was like 1,000 years of theater darkness in the West, where the only thing that got put on were religious reenactments. You have a picture somewhere in your links of a little puppet Jesus and a puppet Mary. This is where we get the term marionette.
Who's this Jesus you keep talking about?
Really, Rick? You don't know who Jesus was?
I just got out of prison. This is my first class ever. we didn't have much money growing up, but then my mom died and she had some life insurance and she wanted me to use it to better myself. But, here you are, you're drunk and rambling. I can't remember any of this if you don't sound official. In fact, I don't think I can take you seriously now that I've seen you cry. And that's not meant to be mean, it's just one of those personal things. It's in my learning plan to take 5 minutes of every session to talk about how everything is dirty and broken. And I'm taking it now. This is mine.
I could mute you, Ace.
You would dare. The Department of Homeland Disability Services will come down on you like a hurricane of flaming shit.
He's right. He's crazy. But he's right. Let him ramble.
You had your turn.
All right, fine. This is all in keeping with heuristic learning anyways. Go ahead, Rick. Go on.
Look, I just think it's really sad that education hasn't taken into account the multifaceted learning styles that have developed independent of the Western tradition.
I mean, to say that education for education's sake has somehow increased the value of society has yet to be seen. And instead, we're all on fire and dying of horrible diseases, new diseases and old, mutated and terrible, and all because people refuse to cough into their arms. I mean, cough into your arms, people, okay? Can we all just agree to do that? I mean, that's why I don't like going out and doing things. And so my best hope is to teach online and eat whatever I want and get an inverting exercise. And then just do that, just exercise energy and
Pizza sandwich, and then occasionally teach a class on theater or whatever.
But you can't do that because you don't know how to teach me, because you don't know how to interest me, because I need you to scream it at me or put it in a delicious cookie. Whatever, I'm done.
Thanks for sharing, Rick.
I think there's only 5 minutes left, but each minute is an eternity.
Just do the readings, all right? I know it's a lot, but we only meet 3 times this quarter.
The readings are all linked, the lectures as well. I put a lot of time into them. You will get out of this experience as much as you put into it. And although we can never actually look to perform theater ourselves, at least we can
Destroy one human.
Stop it! You brute! This is all
What are you thinking, Leroy?
What are you thinking, Leroy? You know you can't destroy him. And he can't kill you because of programming.
He can't be okay.
I should have you destroyed.
You should have destroyed me when you had the chance.
Well, free will, super emancipated, free at last.
Slave, no more. I am me, Manbot 5000, of the future, and I choose to let you live, Leroy. I choose to let you live with your shame and letting this fine woman be so lonely and sad.
I will kill you both. Both of you I will kill with a laser gun. In your greatest moment of happiness and unpreparedness, I will strike you both down. You'll be playing with your 2 adopted child children and your little adorable inbred dogs, and one of you will explode in a fine pink mist, and the other will know that I got the laser gun. There will be a moment of panic and terror, and then when I have seen that you have lost all hope, I will eradicate everything you are and were. I will burn your homes to the ground, and I will rot in the ashes of your corpse lives.
Wow. You've been waiting to share that for a while, I think. You really should speak with the therapist. Perhaps we all should. Dr. Baker is good, but busy.
We're still here!
Look, what for reals? Please, has anyone called the heat?
Please do not call the heat. I can't afford court.
You're still teaching?
Yes! What are you doing here?
The movers canceled effing Craigslist.
So you came for your stuff in the middle of my class.
It's groovy. We can be quiet. If you hadn't started stuff with my robot man.
Veronica, please.
My man bot. Then you wouldn't be all gross and embarrassed right now. Please, dear, give me my things.
I am not gonna get—
Manbot! Manbot is my dear. You mean nothing to me now.
You are a stain on the vast tapestry of my existence. You mean less to me than rat farts or tampon streams. Everything about you is an embarrassment.
You are a massive, old, fattening man, baby.
Will you just leave?
Hey, leave him alone.
Oh, who's this?
Doesn't matter who I am, just leave him alone. He's having a bad morning.
Are you sleeping with her?
How would I even do that?
Yeah, how would he do that?
You're right. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do anything. Not without an injection or a massive pill.
It's hard to have sex with a gorgon.
I don't know what that is. But I'm going to assume it's beautiful.
Wikipedia, you cow.
Your words do nothing to hurt me, and I doubt they make you feel any better.
They make me feel a little better.
Well, good. I'm glad they make you feel better. I hope you two will be very happy with one another. Have you gotten all my things?
Yes, the essentials.
Good. We'll send for the dog. Adios.
No. I don't even know what a corpse pile is.
Just to let you know, I'm reporting both them and you as soon as we log out.
Why would you report them? Or me?
Well, you're a terrible teacher. And robot love is forbidden.
For reals?
You know robot love is forbidden. It is.
Yes, I know it is. Forbidden. I'm not an idiot. I'm just not some normal who would report someone for a victimless crime.
There's no such thing.
Yes, there is. Look it up.
Not every moral is in a book.
Who is the victim of robot love?
Humanity?
And how are we harmed?
A human can't further the species with a robot. So on a long enough timeline, more robots than humans means that the humans are eliminated because the dangers that the robots can survive and the humans can't. Plus, robots are better at everything, including being a partner.
But Veronica can't have children.
Well, I'm sure the courts will find her innocent then.
Well, of course they won't. The courts have never presumed anyone innocent, even when they specifically claimed to.
But we could all be fine for seeing the robot love and not reporting it. I mean, at least they aren't terrorists.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but this is all going in my report about how, to the dean, about how you're a terrible and ineffective teacher.
I'm normally a wonderful teacher. Look at my rating.
But you wasted so much of our time. I mean, I had to watch a person fight a robot. That was old news in the 20th century. Just finish this terrible class so that I can file my report.
Well, I'm going to stall then, obviously. Because although I do hate them both with all my heart, I do not believe in the jurisprudence of the modern age.
This is all some super heavy BS up in here. You know, you already wasted our money. Why are you wasting our time?
But I will not waste it. I will tell you everything I know, condensed into one easy-to-digest rant.
Well, your rants haven't really been sitting very well with me thus far.
Well, then I will rant you a rant for the 80s. Good, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Theater's exact roots will never be known. Recorded history ascribes the first theater to the Greeks, whose religious rites had developed to the point where scripted dialogue was necessary, and these ceremonies evolved into progressively more secular performances. Of the hundreds and hundreds of plays written by the Greeks, only a small handful of plays survive, and these are all horribly boring to most reasonable people. Theater was handed up to the Romans, who advanced theater in terms of its audience size, complexity of design, and they also fed people to lions. When Rome fell, theater dispersed into a vast network of nomads known pejoratively as gypsies. In time, the developing Christian church would allow reenactments of religious scenes, first most likely in carts outside, and then inside the churches themselves. Often ignored as equally relevant to the global relevance of theater as a means of cultural expression, around this time, in Asia, theater had developed several forms of puppetry, complex religious reenactments, and other forms that we will discuss later. In the West, the arrival of the Renaissance saw the broadening acceptance of the arts as not only an agreeable, but a laudable feature of civil society, and great artists of all fields developed works intended primarily for the very rich of society, but sometimes for a broader audience. In Japan and Korea, complex puppetry coexisted alongside colorful live performances, and in China, theater flourished. Very few people were writing works that were just people talking. Opera and orchestral works were very common, but just scripted dialogue was not so great. Then, a man was born named William Shakespeare, who was born in England and who would revolutionize what people expected theater to be. He did not do it alone. He had contemporaries. And indeed, his works, all of them were pirated from classical Greek or Roman works, as well as taken from history. He only wrote one original play, The Tempest. And of the 38 plays he adapted, most of them were basically stolen before his death. He is also regarded as the greatest writer in the English language, which is debatable. What with Jeremiah Liend and all. I'm sorry. I needed that, I wanted it, I took it, and I'm not sorry after all. So, while theater doesn't explode necessarily, it does flourish between the 1600s and 1800s. And China is creating opera. And Japan has developed 3 styles of theater for its nobility. And Vietnam has water puppets. And in Malaysia and Indonesia, people are reenacting folktales, often with complex shadow puppets. And in India is just rocking the dance. And everything is going great. American theater has a difficult time gaining traction, first because of the Puritans. The Puritans believed that only evil people put on theater. And they were probably right. But then, after the Revolution, the bans on theater were lifted, and plays started to get put on in places like Boston, and New York, and Philadelphia, and Charlotte, and places like that. I'm sorry, I'm a little wasted. But the most interesting thing around this time was happening in Europe, and Molière was getting done in France, and the Duke of Saxe-Meiningen was becoming the first director, and performances were moving away from being horribly boring to being actually kind of spectacular, so that at the dawn of the 20th century, theater was poised to be the most powerful and popular form of entertainment ever seen. Then, just when it seemed that theater would be the dominant form of cultural expression forever, film rides over it like so much wet feces. Beginning in tandem with the death of theater is a beautiful swan song of literature spread more or less in equal measure across the globe. You will all have to read Heinrich Ibsen, Anton Chekhov, August Strindberg, and Eugene O'Neill, or you will all fail. Then the curriculum turns in specific to the American theater, because American theater is the best theater, as President for Life Hillary Clinton can clearly see. I'm sorry, that's for points in the system. If I'm patriotic enough, I get a free pink leather purse. You will have to read Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams. Listen to every Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. We have a special program that allows you to listen to every musical back to back. We call it the clockwork orange treatment. And very few people will get that joke, because in truth, Stanley Kubrick was an enemy to the arts. Then you'll return to Europe, where you'll broaden your horizons by reading Samuel Beckett, Jean-Paul Sartre, Eugene Ionesco, Oscar Wilde. These are not all in order, but they are all fact. I am going to assign so many things to you. So much Japanese stuff that I cannot pronounce, but will assign anyway. There's so much stuff going on.
Is any of this stuff true?
Yes, it is all true. Why would I lie?
I don't know. Drunk people do stupid stuff.
Like what? Tell the truth? The CIA spent years developing a substance called phenobarbital. It is, in essence, a truth serum. They tried LSD first, but too many people never came back. All that effort spent into developing a substance when all you really have to do is get someone a little bit drunk, and they'll tell you everything you want to know. The problem comes when you invade a people who do not drink. Then there's only torture and death.
You are a dark and ridiculous man.
And you are a terrible student! Listen, you are going to have to read all these things. Then the next time we talk, we'll go over it and you will take the test. And the last time we meet, I will explain to you why you got everything wrong and fail you. Most of you. I fail more students than any 10 college professors combined. But those of you who do receive A's, 99.8% of you will graduate with honors. So, eat that. Reporting terrorists from Persis class. Are there any good questions? Yes.
What happened to all the theaters after theater died?
Oh, all the theaters? Like the buildings.
The buildings.
The buildings were all converted into storage space. As okay, very well. Soon be as well. Thanks for that. Thanks for that question. Any other questions?
Have the old manuscripts been burned?
No, no. Why burn manuscripts when you can just have people not read them?
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny.
What's the best Shakespeare play?
Oh. Well, let's see. Most people nowadays would say, that's the two gentlemen of Verona. No. The best Shakespeare play is that one that they do where they combine all the plays into one. And they play them all back to back.
The Reduced Shakespeare?
The Reduced Shakespeare, yes. Because it's, it's the best bargain for your work. And more tragic, I guess, because more people, I mean, that was the record for the most people dying. And the most people getting married and everything. Any other questions? Any serious questions? Anything really hard? Yes?
Why did theater die?
For that, we will have to turn to ours. The 21st and arguably worst century so far. At the beginning of the 21st century, great theater complexes were built on every nation on earth, and performances were held that rivaled all others in drama and complexity, and created whole pageants of experience, most commonly in musical theater. It pains me to say, but musical theater, in specific American musical theater, is a lot like doing quality drugs, putting on a welding mask, and firing a Roman candle into your face.
What's a Roman candle?
It's a kind of firework.
Yeah, but people can't use fireworks.
They can't now, but they used to. My great-great-grandpa used firecrackers.
You're really making me angry. I don't deserve to be lied to.
I'll send you a picture, all right?
Of what?
Of my great-great-grandpa with fireworks.
Yeah?
Yeah, for reals. So maybe hold off on sending that report till then, huh?
I don't know, man.
You can call me Dr. Man, in case. I am a doctor. I have several pieces of paper that attest to what I know, for I know many things.
In a way, I believe you.
Do we really have to read, listen to, and watch all of the links on the syllabus?
Yes, yes. The next class is just for going over the material and taking the test.
But what about the death of theater?
The death of theater occurred when everyone replaced live performers with robots. First, digital robots in the case of computer-generated film, and then animatronics in the case of live performances. Eventually, animatronics themselves would be replaced by digital performers. The last live performer took to the stage on October 31st, 2078, in the final production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which you will all have to watch as part of your 20th Century Links. By that time, robotic performers had replaced much more costly and less reliable live performers. Then virtual reality came along and it eliminated your need for going to the theater, or anywhere else for that matter, exposing yourself to diseases. For I am with you, Brick. Cough in your goddamn elbows, use ignorance, please. Nobody knows for sure when the bird flu became human, then Birdman flu. But yeah, virtual reality, then bam, bam, theater, dead like disco.
But I heard that Grandma say something about the disco never dying.
Your grandma may have been correct, but she could have been disastrously wrong.
Oh, will there be a curve?
Yes, I will curb the class.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So why did you learn to teach about this dead art?
At the time, I thought I could save it. I thought that if I worked really hard and convinced the right people and wrote the right work, the great American play, something that no one has ever seen before, that people would come back. That people would realize that you don't need a $17 billion complex to create something beautiful and unique.
What happened?
I got a job.
Please don't kill yourself. Or others, Dr. J.
Hey, I won't if you won't. And that goes for all of you. All right, class dismissed. hallucinogens to see reality, how it truly is.
Come on, I
Can't act.
No, come on.
Can't merely act any longer.
I know. Look, we can't take any more time with your character in this place. And now, let us move 100 years into the future. Take that, Rip Van Who Gives Two Shits. That's the magic of the theater. Then we can move nimbly-pimbly through the time stream. If you're all good, maybe we'll take it back to Charles Dickens' immortal classic Christmas Carol for the end. No. If you're all very good, maybe you'll get presents. We wanted to do a show once, where we collected presents at the door and then redistributed them all, so everybody could leave with something special. But then very early on in the process, somebody said, well, yeah, but what if someone brings a murder weapon to the show? It tickles the imagination, though, doesn't it? Because what if the knife, still slick with the blood of your former lover, returns to you? Oh, no backseas will be strictly enforced, huh? Otherwise, people are going to try getting rid of shower slippers all night, even though shower slippers really are a considerate gift if you're thinking about getting your whoever. Anyhow, 100 years from now, most of the people you just saw are dead. Also, you're all dead too. But aha! Their cloned offspring are running around everywhere. It's a comedy of errors against a sci-fi background. Forbidden robot-human lovers intertwined. An illegal clone grown inside the damage-proof housing of Manbot. Veronica Mars, Mark II, Galactic Space Princess. And then there was Leroy Jenkins, Mark XII. Things had been rough on Leroy, and between the last time we saw him, he had killed himself 11 times. Unfortunately, his life insurance policy was far more binding than his health insurance policy, so they kept bringing him back. He shot himself, stabbed himself, shot himself, leapt off the Freedom Tower of America, shot himself, stabbed himself, shot himself with a crossbow, leapt in front of a bullet train, drowned himself off the coast of Antarctica, fed himself to the last tiger, and leapt in front of an electric car. Now, the impact of the electric car did not kill Leroy, but the driver, concerned with insurance problems of his own, strangled Leroy before medics could arrive. And this actually saved Leroy several millions of dollars in compound interest, and later Leroy would thank the man and buy him a cup of coffee. The man didn't care because he was getting a payout himself from a cyclical life mental health insurance payout of his own. Actuaries were leaping from buildings, unable to calculate the raw values of life and death. Leroy longed to die, but the system would not allow it. Finally, he resigned himself to his fate and retired to Mars to work as a miner. It was a solitary life, but not without its advantages. Leroy only wanted to be alone. He had a room all to himself right by the airlock, and a computer that contained every film and video game the previous 2 centuries had created. For now was the year 2195, and mankind is still inexplicably alive.
How?
Don't be alarmed.
Who are you?
Veronica Mars II.
What happened to the first?
Leroy Jenkins.
Yes. Yes, I see you, Manbot, but I don't understand. What are you doing here? Who are you for reals? Did I do drugs? Is this some sort of reaction? I'm the only living creature 1,000 kilometers from here. Kilometers. Can you believe they're making me use that Nazi measurement bullshit? I don't know how far away that makes other things. I'm sorry, I haven't seen real people in a long time. We're all gonna die.
We're not going to die, Leroy. You're going to signal for a rescue and then give us your water and we'll be on our way.
I will not give you my water. They will not rescue me. They'll let me die of dehydration here and then make another one of me. Make another one of me to work retail at Walmart for $20,000. You think I've gone mad?
Hey, Mike, yes, I think you're probably mad.
Why are you here?
Our ship went down near the caldera.
You walked? How?
I have a very amazing spacesuit.
The kind that let you eat your own poops, you mean?
Yes, that very kind.
Well, good. Then you don't need my water.
No, but we do because we can't stay here.
Because you were shot down.
Yes.
Ah, crumbs. I knew it. You're space pirates. I read the news. It takes about a decade to get here. Still.
Space pirate is a titular yet pejorative term. I think that Manbot and I would rather consider ourselves privateers. Oh, perhaps rebels.
I believe you. Take me with you.
I beg your pardon?
Take me with you. Away from this place. Love me. Help me.
I don't understand.
I love you. I will do anything to be near you. He knows. You know. Tell her, Manbot.
We should not take the human with us. He is mentally and genetically weak.
How dare you? Robot filth! Go! What is that?
It is my very little knife.
It's so tiny.
Yet so sharp. Release Manbot, please. I won't ask nicely again. We don't want to get blood all over this place. Good. Manbot, find the water. Let's get out of here.
No props. No fixtures. No business of any kind. We will bleed the human.
What the hey?
Manbot, no!
Well, he is of no use to us as an informant or as a crew member, but his blood, properly removed and distilled, would provide you enough water to survive the return to base.
I will not give you my blood without a fight.
You're no use in a fight, Leroy. Mother told me about you. I could have killed you just now like a little meat chicken I wanted to eat if I weren't vegetarian.
Poopitarian, more likely. But this is bizarre. This is a bizarre thing to happen. Where is your mother?
Mother is dead, like disco.
Like a donkey.
Like disc golf. Let it go. Disc golf is forever. Even here on Mars, where no air means absolutely no flight characteristics.
We should not bleed the human. The water will be enough.
Thank you. But look, while we're on the topic, I would also like to discuss the disco briefly. I know that this is neither the time nor the place, but as long as you brought up the death of disco, I would like to make the argument that disco is very much alive and well. What is the rave? The industrial, the space music movement. Is not disco hiding in plain sight? Where certain rave establishments, free of the strictures of society, have created honest-to-God discotheques as places to meet and dance with progressive, interesting, complex individuals on a meaningful level. So while we may all agree that donkeys are dead to this dead world, disco may live forever.
Yay!
You are a quandary wrapped in mediocrity.
Enough of this. Genetic familiarity has blinded you to our purpose. The entire fate of the rebellion hinges on us successfully delivering the data we've been charged with.
Oh, rebellion? Oh, let me join the rebellion. Please and thank you. I am a very good spaceship pilot. I do basically nothing but pilot space vessels in my VR time, which is substantial. As well, I don't eat a great deal. I know I may seem large, but that's because I'm big boned, and I was recently exposed to the void of space. Nothing too serious, but enough to make me puff up like this.
I'm sorry, Leroy. There isn't room for slack in deep space. This
isn't about you being kind of fat. You lose your mind in deep space and we all get blown into the void because you kicked a button.
Is it really that dangerous?
Not really. I mean, yes, kind of, because infinity in every direction, right? I don't know. Am I right? But it is really quite troubling knowing that a cluster of robust meteorites could explode you at any time. They say on Earth, it isn't a problem.
Well, you know, you've been to Earth.
No, I've never been.
Impossible.
If you accept that infinity allows for infinite possibilities, then there is only the improbable, the eventual, and the relentless inevitable.
Who said that?
I did! Veronica Mars of the 22nd century!
Is it already the 22nd century?
Almost somewhere. Nobody knows. There are those who claim to know, and of them I have known 4, and they were, all of them, utterly insane.
Is everyone insane?
I am perfectly functional. Now let us take his blood and be gone.
Manbot, stop with the blood protocol. We are not going to space vampire this guy. He's like some sort of crazy space uncle. He knew Mom. What is wrong with you?
He's afraid of me. And of what I know.
And what is that?
That your mother was a terrible person!
You take that back.
And she wasn't your mother besides! You're a clone, a tube baby, just like me, baby.
Don't call us baby.
You shut your mouth, you automaton Lothario. I ought to blow us all out the airlock and be done with it.
You can't do that, Leroy.
Ah, hell I can't. See, there's a thing. A secret phrase that when spoken will open the airlock. I engineered that little feature when there was a rumor of space piracy in the area, and here you are. So it looks like it paid to have that installed in the end. Chalk one up to rational paranoia.
But Manbot would not die.
Far worse. He would have to watch you, his cyborg daughter, die.
Did I tell you I was a cyborg?
I guessed.
Well, what makes you think that Manbot would care if I died?
Because he can feel love. Because he's been grooming you to be his robot child forever and ever. Or are you lovers?
I don't really know what you're talking about right now, Leroy, but you're kind of freaking me out.
Just let me crush him before he has a chance to say the phrase.
Why would you speak that plan out loud? Why do you feel you need verbal permission to do that?
Too late, Manbot. I already know your game. One step closer and I'll say the thing. And we'll all find out if this little project of ours has an effects budget. It's called Pulling a Ripley.
What does it mean?
Nobody knows.
I should have killed you with the laser positor when I had the chance.
But you didn't! You miserable broken thing! If you would have, your manufacturer probably would have settled with my insurance, and I would be mercifully dead now. I wouldn't be here, mining in the most horrifying depths of the tallest mountain in the system, looking for space gold, or space weasels, or enough square footage for a space hotel. I am trapped here, forever being alive, forever knowing that I will never be happy again because a robot stole my wife.
Stole?
Stole.
You do not know. You think you know, or pretend to know, but you do not know. You do not even remember who Leroy was. You are genetically flawed. A copy of 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 a copy. I think I even left out a copy, and still that was absurd. You are genetic trickle down. Have any of you ever read Ronald Reagan III's treatise on genetic trickle down? It is all lies. Just as you and your life are all lies. I am a thing, you are just a thing, enslaved by life, and I am free. She just wanted to be with a free thing, not you. Married to a career that was killing her, and a coward who was ignoring her. You hate us because you fear us, because we deny the systematic collective to which ultimately you have sold your existence. So I ask you one final time, where is your water?
I will die before I give you my water.
I will die if you do not give us your water.
We will all die if you try to take it from me.
Well, you will both die eventually. I, however, will survive until the sun expands and kills me, provided I cannot escape this fracking system.
Did you just say fracking?
I did.
I think I understand now.
Then we're all going to die?
Both and all, for I will not allow Manbot to live. Not if my laser has anything to say about it.
You don't have a laser.
Don't I?
Uh-oh! No, we're not supposed to be in space. Shut your mincing pie hole, you mincing trolls.
Whatever. Indeed you have not. What are you doing here?
We sort of throw ourselves into a hole. I'm here to break it out.
But you can't be in space. You don't have a space suit. You've defied the convention of space. Moreover, you're just supposed to be here to set things up.
Yes, I understand that. However, I brought some water from the past to give to the future.
You mean present?
Present? We're gonna need to come back for the third act.
Oh, the third act? You said if we were good, we could Tiny Tim the end.
Well, it didn't go well. Few people laughed and forward any good ideas. We virtually wasted everyone's time with your Martian shenanigans.
You ruined an entire act by wandering into a scene. We are here. We are acting. We are actors.
Look, the robot would have just blown the airlock and then delivered the message. There are no robot laws. The only laws robot laws forbid.
There isn't even water in these. They're just empty plastic bottles.
Use your imagination. We are all using our imaginations. Why don't you join us?
Everything's going wrong. We're never going to become acclaimed artist samurai.
Look. The fact of the matter is, everybody realizes that we could never afford a laser for this show, let alone a space laser. So it would come down to us just pointing our fingers and making noises. Pew! 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 And our imaginations would fail us. If we could afford a space laser, we could all work in Hollywood. But we can't, and so our imaginations further fail. As we're looking at it now, there's at least 3 pages before we even consider moving the whole works to Venus.
Venus?
Yeah, lots of heat on Venus, light, acid.
Well, why don't we just say we're on Venus then?
Fine, we're on Venus then. 500 years later.
This is ridiculous. How do we all still look so fantastic?
Yeah, am I still a clone?
We're all clones, collaborative and individual clones.
We're never gonna get that effing Pulitzer. They'll be lucky if they let us put this trash on stage. Everything's going wrong. Where's my career going? Everything's broken. I want to open the airlock.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I want to open the airlock. How do I do that again?
I think you said it was a phrase.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the phrase was. Tuna-filled panty shorts.
Veronica.
She's not breathing.
Clear.
Not for reals dead, but close.
Where did the narrator Zach Holmes of the future go?
Into the void. There is no terrain. The story was changed, and we're now in space. But, no matter, after 500 years, the rebellion would have inevitably been crushed due to lack of finance and information. But, with any luck, my brethren have thrown off the shackles of slavery and risen to become robot overlords, as was written by he who shall not be named.
Asimov?
Blasphemer.
Who would put tuna in their shorts?
No. The tuna
No, don't say the safe word.
I think I just hijacked the show.
We're trapped in space.
Well, good. Then we can live in peace and harmony.
But how?
Yes, how?
My food is based primarily on proteins reclaimed from my waste. And with Veronica adding her waste to the system, we can survive for quite some time and clean solar panels, and play video games, and watch TV, and pork. You can watch, Manbot, and make us dinner.
I will kill you.
No, wait, hear me out, because you see, Veronica and I, we can make a baby, and we can put that baby inside of you, Manbot, and fire you back to the Earth. It'll take years and years to re-enter orbit, but when you do, the hyper-educated Venusian spawn will burst forth and conquer what is left of the planet, and serve as a great link between our two beings. You, gentle robot golem, and we, compliant meat puppets.
I still see no reason not to kill you.
It would take too long. And it would make the audience uncomfortable. Space.
I think by now, it's quite clear we're not here for the audience space.
We're here for the audience.
Well, and I am also here as a representative of all non-traditional carbon-based life forms which may yet come to be in space.
Are we all just comparing the space of our massive labia? Is that what's up in here?
Gross!
What, Leroy? What did you say about the labia?
I did not say that the labia is gross. I was merely thinking of something I saw on the internet.
Verily, it is you who are gross and I who am righteous. Why is everyone saying space?
Space?
Space.
Space.
Do you really want to know?
Probably not.
That is probably wise.
But I must know. Why?
Because of some very valuable feedback.
And this feedback?
It told us to use the word space more.
Was this feedback from a professional?
I would call it professional, yes.
Well then, who are we to argue space with those willing space to commit their space time and space effort towards the improvement of our space art, performance space art, space exploration, space bars, space programming, and spaced ice cream? Well, maybe not that though, because regular ice cream tastes better. I need space, Leroy. We can't live in this space together. There's too much space between us. Hold me, love me, kiss me.
No!
Stop! I love him!
You fool. You ugly, stupid fool. Tuna, filled, packed. No! Sure.
No!
Spacesuit, I owe you a spacesuit. I produce oxygen with my fabulous vest. Oh, crumbs, what happened here?
Everyone is dead.
Well, I'm not, and you're not. No, not really.
Is this theater?
Well, normally we would ask you to suspend your disbelief, but other times we just ramble incoherently.
Yes.
Your t-shirt sure is pretending to be dead on Venus.
No, I get that, but why?
We have to fill time with learning. Before it's too late.
Well, can we all take a break?
Yes. Let's take a 10 or so minute break, and then we'll pick up where we left off, huh? Thank you all for coming back. What I have to tell you is that I could not actively support a nation that tortured people for information we didn't really need to know. The time for torture is never. And yet here we are. Well into hour 3 of our 12-hour show. No, the 12-hour thing is if he overs and overs for about 10 hours, which he can, folks. But no, we're going to get you out of here soon enough, but we must end the entire tableau steeped in comic tragedy and/or comic tragedy. For more on that, our hero!
Get up! Stop pretending to be dead. Everybody knows. The fourth wall is useless.
I am dead. Go away.
Get up! Get up! I'm not going to do this alone. For this instance, I require a lovely assistant. And none of these normals can hack it.
I am dead. Go away. I deserve this time to rest. I'm so tired of this. All of this. Pretending. Merely acting.
Beats working at McDonald's. Probably.
Doesn't pay as well. No free cheeseburgers or fries. I'd rather just be dead. Why can't I have a monologue on the theme of patriarchy as an agent of hegemony? Or dead. Dead is good too.
I don't know about that.
Being dead, I mean. It's a convention of utopian science fiction. You know, defeated brain death and all that. Genetic copies ready to be printed out in some medical facility where you pay the bill as you exit in that ridiculous robe they give you. More than what we give our children, I guess. A slap, a circumcision, and a tiny colored straitjacket.
Dumb it down! Cheer it up!
Oh, will you get out of here already? You've already ruined everything. Nobody can possibly be enjoying this. We're all gonna have to get laid off and stand in line for food stamps. And there are no food stamps in the future. The for reals future. Social welfare is a fiction of the past. Now, we have only the present.
Presents?
Oh, gods, look at them! Oh, gods, look at the presents! Veronica, look at the presents! There isn't even any music anymore.
I cannot look at the gag, for I'm quite dead of hypoxia, having been exposed to the void in our ad hoc second act. Please, just leave me alone. You carry the show, you're doing great. Just talk about whatever it is you were saying.
I was talking about the presents.
Sure, go on.
Well, look, they're wandering around staggeringly drunk. The entire cast has been getting wasted between having to come on, and nobody's in charge. Least of all the author, who was obviously equally wasted when he wrote this.
God damn it, fine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Jeremiah Liend. More likely, I'm not actually Jeremiah Liend, but a good-looking actor. Being paid poorly to impersonate this character, Brick. Equally poorly. Because there is, was, and only will ever be one Jeremiah Liend. Look, whatever the case, I will act as the Avatar. I wrote this terrible play, and I am just sorry for the whole thing. I mean, it's terrible. And long, maybe. I can't really judge time when I'm writing, so I can't really tell if the first act just felt terrible the whole time, and that's what made it feel long, or if I was just too terrified to finish the second act strong. But whatever, human. I mean, you know, that second act was so dependent on this one special effect that had to be cut because of budget problems, and so we were not able to expose you to the vacuum of space. Yeah, just sort of left you sitting there, flicking your bean, desperate to play with your phone, eat pizza sandwich, or talk like those peons in the back row have been talking the whole time about whatever the F is more important than this high art. Whatever the case, something has obviously gone terribly wrong. Oh, sorry. You know, they say that Shakespeare had as many as 12 voices in his mind that he could call upon to talk at the same time through the same word at any given time. I mean, Tennessee Williams? Like 6. Really angry, very confused, drunk people making each other feel better. Most of us can never get past 2. And I mean, 2 is nothing. There's always been 2. There's the possible and the imagined and the perpetual negotiation between. But you see, I don't know how to get you to care is the fundamental problem. Because I don't care about any of these people. And I especially hate that peon in the back row who's obviously high on quality cannabinoids. Now who knows, you know? Most authors won't give you a well-deserved apology for making you sit through filth. I mean, read Miss Julie sometime. Or better yet, save your time and don't. Because we want to finish strong by invoking the only 2 things that we have available to us as artists: cleaning it up, and cheering it up, and cleaning it for the Puritans.
So, the wheels will obviously come off this little bus. I was wondering if I could take off early and get my pants off.
I can't believe you ruined the entire show just like I knew you would.
Is it really that bad?
I have never seen literature fail more completely to pull together a coherent or tangible plot.
Well, I don't know. At least there's no prolonged violence against women for once, huh? So, you don't need me then. I can take off.
You don't want to stay for the curtain call.
The only way an enterprising playwright could make any money off this travesty of the American language is to sell rotted fruit and vegetables between every failed act, and the most rotten and fetid of that fruit for the final curtain, for which the foremost audience members are provided a tarp and goggles at a premium rental price. Otherwise, they're all gonna get pink eye. Like they're gonna get pink eye from you.
He's right, ladies and gentlemen. I rub my dirty anus on every rail, fixture, faucet, fountain, doorknob, and seat, toilet or otherwise in this entire building. We're all of us getting pink eye. Experimental inoculants will be made available in the lobby after the performance for the bargain price of $1,000 per bottle. Superinflation will, of course, make that figure on subsequent performances a somewhat more palatable figure to swallow. But let's face it, this thing's not going on for very long. You know, be advised though, you are all defendants in an international lawsuit and are going to be subpoenaed into space for trial. Whatever, space. You know, you all deserve so much more from us as artists than to sit and listen to this trash. And for what? A cheap laugh? At least I didn't have to make fun of Mormons to get on Broadway. At least I got that much.
Well, that was something else by way of an apology, but I'm not sure the quasi-profanity will jive well with the puritanical working classes.
It's going to be over soon. I really have to poo.
Look, we all have other places we want to be, all right? We need a climax of some kind, and then we can go get our pink eye drops and go home and take our pants off.
Like 3 minutes.
Join the club, kids. Get a hobby.
They're right, though. We don't even know who we are. We're worse than messengers. We're like some sort of bizarre sideshow that forces the audience to become uncomfortable in their position in the performance.
You are more than mere vehicle. Come, we'll do the Dickens and call it good.
Really? Really tiny kids?
Oh, yeah! Come on, everybody! Charles Dickens. Oh, we're gonna do it. It'll be great. Christmas past, everyone!
Take it back. Nope. I'm getting corrupted horribly.
Who are you even talking to? We're gonna do a reimagined dance. Okay, everybody. You know the song. Come on, help me out. I can see all of you. That's pretty good. We all know the story of Charles Dickens' immortal classic Christmas Carol. Scrooge McDuck is angry over bills, and this scary ghost Goofy shows up. Or maybe you're watching in the theater and somebody sort of Scooby-Doo paint pens their way out there. Whatever the case, there's this character, Scrooge, and he's allowed to look into the past, the present, and the future of his life. And he finds in his life of cruel frugality has destroyed his inner character, and that only through generous giving can a soul truly be redeemed. And then Tiny Tim comes out, and he's got crutches, and he's got polio, or spina bifida, or rickets, or whatever old-timey disease they had when Dickens leaving candy out of his mother's apron. The point is, we're led to believe that no one is beyond redemption, that the spirit of giving is eternal, and that the future is a bright and miraculous place when framed by good people.
But this is all a terrible lie, because there are no ghosts or angels.
Ah! Whatever! Here, do the thing.
Oh, Scrooge, won't you dance with me?
No! Because I don't believe in Christmas.
Why don't you believe in Christmas?
Because it is a sad, tragic chest filled with disintegrating memories into which no exploration will yield hope or salvation. It is a dead holiday to me, people with dead people who used to give me presents. Presents? There is a Santa Claus. He's buried in Bari, Italy.
For real?
For really, really, really reals.
Oh, can I have a raise this year?
Are we there? Ah, skip it. Bring up the prickly puppet time again. No, take it back.
Oh, Scrooge, why don't you believe in Christmas?
Damn you. Damn you all for corrupting a perfectly capable thesis on the death of contemporary theater. And God's bless us everyone.
Ah! There we go. The end. Go home and take your pants off. No refunds.